When it comes to practically every facet of life, whether it is health, career advancement, personal growth, or relationships, the individuals who are consistently successful are not the ones who are the most enthusiastic, passionate, or fired up. Even though they are absent, they are the ones who turn up. This is the most important distinction between basing one's behaviour on motivation and developing one's discipline. At first glance, both may appear to be instruments that can assist you in accomplishing your objectives. With more investigation, however, you will discover that one is unstable, ephemeral, and emotional, the characteristics of the motivational process. There is an allure to motivation. You get the feeling that you are prepared to take on anything. This phenomenon is similar to a high tide in that it is swift, forceful, and overwhelming, but it may also withdraw with equal ease. Motivation is the spark, the initial surge of excitement that gets you out of bed early, once, makes you say yes to a new goal, or pushes you to start a task that you have been avoiding. Motivation is the spark that enables you to accomplish something. Emotional energy is what it is. Inspiration is a common source of motivation. However, here is the issue. Motivation is not a reliable source of energy. Your state of mind, your energy levels, the environment, and the circumstances all have a significant role. You wake up one day feeling energized and prepared to go to the gym, prepare a healthy diet, or write that masterpiece. If you get up the next day and find that it is pouring, you are exhausted, or life has thrown something unexpected at you, your motivation suddenly disappears. Instantaneously, the spark that you relied on to motivate you to take action, if your ability to take action is dependent on your level of motivation, then you will only work when the conditions in which you are working are excellent, which is extremely uncommon. The essence contained within discipline. Step into the discipline now. The inner commitment to act in a manner that is congruent with your values and long-term goals, regardless of how you feel in the present moment, is what we mean when we talk about discipline. In addition, it does not rely on inspiration or hype. Not what you are feeling like doing, but what you have committed to doing is what it wants you want to engage in. It is through repetition, consistency, and an almost religious respect for the vows you make to yourself that you may develop the discipline that people need. However, with time, self-control transforms into freedom. How come? For the reason that it fosters mastery. This results in the formation of habits that no longer demand mental effort. It eliminates the mind-numbing process of determining daily whether or not you will carry out the actions that you are aware are necessary. Having discipline does not require one to be motivated. It inquires about one's identification. Reasons why discipline is longer lasting and more effective than motivation. The consequences that are produced by each of these two factors are the most compelling evidence for why discipline is more important than motivation. The ability to motivate yourself can help you get started. It is a fantastic tool for transformation. Discipline, on the other hand, is what provides you with the ability to persevere through challenging circumstances. Let's imagine a sportsperson who only works out when they have the desire to do so. Their advancement would, at best, be erratic and unpredictable. Imagine for a moment an athlete who trains every day, regardless of whether it is raining or shining, whether they are exhausted or energetic, whether they are motivated or not. Not because they had more desire, but because they were more consistent. That athlete eventually becomes an elite athlete throughout their career. It is possible to apply this approach to every aspect of life. The reason that authors are unable to complete their works is that they are continually inspired. It is because they sat down to write that they were able to finish novels, even on days when the words did not come easily to them. The reason that entrepreneurs develop enterprises is not because they are in a state of constant excitement, because they showed up and found solutions to challenges even when they were feeling discouraged. They could do it. Because they constantly seek vegetables and cardio, healthy people are unable to maintain their fitness level, discipline, and being one's own identity. There is a more profound aspect to this discussion that is frequently overlooked, and that is the relationship between self-discipline and self-identity. You send a powerful signal to your subconscious mind every time you follow through on a pledge, even when you didn't feel like it. This signal says, I am the kind of person who keeps promises. These qualities, confidence, self-respect, and mental clarity, are built on the foundation of this internal trust. On the other hand, every time you breach a promise that you made to yourself, every time you skip going to the gym, every time you snooze your alarm, and every time you give up on a project, you weaken that trust only a little. Over time, you will begin to question your capacity to transform. As time goes on, you begin to perceive yourself as someone who never sticks with things. However, the most attractive aspect of discipline is that it can reverse this. Your perception of yourself as dependable, powerful, and rooted will increase in proportion to the degree to which you develop your discipline. In addition, once you have established that identity, you will no longer require motivation. You will act because it is simply who you are. How to develop discipline without relying on motivation. It is not something that you are born with, rather it is something that you develop over time. It begins with behaviours that are tiny and consistent, which gradually rewire your brain and allow you to modify your habits. Clarity is the starting point. It is essential. Know exactly what it is that you are dedicated to and the reasons behind it. Establish straightforward and particular standards for yourself and treat them as if they were contracts rather than suggestions. After that, take away the layer that makes decisions. It is not possible to see how you feel when you wake up if you have decided to write for 30 minutes every morning. You begin your day by writing, I will not negotiate. There is no feeling. In the right way. Over time, something that was once challenging becomes second nature. Something that once needed willpower is now considered commonplace. The force of discipline can be seen in this. Concluding remarks, the decision is yours to make. This is a loud, showy and thrilling form of motivation. Currently, it is a pleasant sensation, but it wears off. A disciplined person is calm, steady. At first, it can feel quite challenging. On the other hand, it cultivates something more profound: character, resiliency, and genuine accomplishment. Therefore, the question that should be asked is not, how can I maintain my motivation? A question that needs to be answered is, how do I become disciplined? Mostly because once you have mastered discipline, motivation becomes nothing. When this occurs, your objectives will no longer be merely aspirations. There is no escaping them. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and keep the conversation going.